Good morning, traders. Welcome to the daily webinar. This will be an update also on YouTube, the midweek update for the general public. So I'll try to make it as fast as I can and as precise as I can so that we get it out. Let's start. Dollar index. We've got some movement since last. Remember, we were thinking, if I remember the last one I did was on Sunday, and I said we'll watch this, that it could possibly make a next low, but this was already showing us a sign that a correction is coming. When we see that, we know that the correction is coming. Well, that happened. It didn't drop. This didn't drop. Actually, I thought they would drop one more, then go. They actually went up. That's okay. You don't have to get the first impulse up. Most times you will never get the first impulse up. What you have to do is, if it's going to make a bigger correction, you look at this in terms of wave analysis. You don't have to catch the first wave. The first impulse is always impossible to get. So let me explain that, because one trader was freaking out. You said the silver and the gold might go down some more. It wasn't a consolidation to break out. So I don't know why people freak out when they see things like that. So let me explain it again to you. Every single move starts with an impulse. You might never get that impulse because you don't know it's going to start, even if it's a reversal. So it will followed by a correction. Your job as a trader is to get the next impulse. Correction, the next impulse. Correction, the next impulse. That's your job, not to get the first one. The first one is you will never know that's the low. You cannot tell that is the low or the high of anything. So if something is moved, if something in the daily is made a move like this, and you think this thing is going to fall anytime, you don't have to get the first impulse down. You have to wait for that first impulse, wait for the correction, and you get the next one down. You wait for correction, you get the next one down. It starts to make bigger correction. You wait for this, you get the next one down, the next one down. That's your job. If you understand that concept, it becomes easy to trade. You don't have to force yourself to get everything. So let's go with the dollar index. Are we turning anywhere? No, we're in the middle of nowhere. We're still in the middle of nowhere. I told you, when you have something this much, you see those are catching the next impulse to the downside. Right? It's not the first one, this one. I don't want that first one up. I might never know it's going to go up there, but I know that I can get this one. And I know I can get that one. And that's the importance. I don't have to get this one, but once they make a correction in here, I must get the next one. Right? That's the whole point. If this correction becomes a flat rather than a correction, if they make a bigger flat here and it turns out something like this, and I don't get anything in there, although sometimes we trade in there, but if you don't get anything in there, your job is to get the next impulse down, because you're going to get an impulse, a correction, impulse, correction. You're going to follow the same method, and you need to get these impulses on a daily basis. That's what wave analysis is about, and that's what gives you the edge in the market. It's not about you getting the first impulse. Oh my God, look at breakout, you didn't get it. We actually put an entry order on silver, and we pull that entry order, and you will see how amazing it was that we pulled the entry order. So we saw this coming. Some of my traders got this trade, I think, on the gold and the silver going up because they were looking for the C impulse up. I'll show you that as well. So what we're looking for here now is what's going to happen in here. There need to be a consolidation there. This is one sharp move. You probably will see consolidation. It could be a running flat, which means they might go up a little, pull back like this. But once we see the pattern that is completed, what we're looking for is the next impulse after you've got a complete pattern. The strategy will be how you will get this. That's the analysis. The strategy is where you're going to enter, where you're going to put your stop, and where is your target. That's strategy. That's not something we discuss in these webinars. That's something we do in our trading room on a daily basis, 5-6 times a day. So yesterday alone, I was in my trading room at least 5 times. And each time I spent about an hour. I think in the New York session, we do for 2.5 hours. Every New York session is about 2 hours. Sorry, excuse me. Asian session, I haven't been going in very often this week, but normally I go in there. We spend about an hour. Then you have the London webinar, then you have London session after the webinar, and then we take a break. We have another London session, then we get the New York session. Now we don't have a second London session because there's a training course going on. So that fits in the second London webinar. But the guys who are senior traders are still in the trading room trading. So can there be changes in the structure as we look at it? Of course. Patterns change. But it doesn't mean we don't understand the change, or we don't see them, or we can't take advantage of them. It means you don't see them because you're not in the trading room. But we see them and we trade them. We might be making a call for an upside, and then we go into trading and say, guys, there's a short-term sell setup. Let's take it. And that turns out to be a long-term sell setup. Okay, there's a change in the pattern. Let's see what we do now. It's always what you're going to do next based on what you have now. Think of the formula as this. Formula, it's a simple formula. If this, then what? So if you get this structure, then what do you do? If this equal to then what? It's always, if I have a flat, then what do I do? If it's not a flat, but it's a triangle, then what do I do? If that is not a flat for the downside, but it's a flag for upside, what do I do? And that is what wave analysis is about. And that is why it gives you an advantage, because you can see each piece, you understand it, you know what it's doing. So if I'm looking right now at the dollar index, I'm thinking, well, I need, after an impulse like this, I need a correction here. But I can already see they're making a flag at the top there. So my thought process immediately goes, so guys, we're going to break the top, but be careful of that buy. Why should we be careful of buying? Maybe we didn't buy there. Why we wouldn't do that? Because if they break out and you have a sharp wave like that, they're eventually going to come back here. Eventually, if this makes a flag here and break out, it's going to come back like this and then go. So if you take the breakout, you end up get caught in a trade, pull you back here and then go, because you're going to make a running flat. And that means if we're going to take it, sometimes we do take them. We're very cautious of that, which means so that it becomes a break-even trade. And when it comes back here, we're definitely looking for this trade up. Now, that's not something you will be able to do because you're not in a trading room with me and I can't give you all the details of that. Do I think it's going to do that when I come into here? No, I think we got this, we got this. There is a chance this is going down and this might work its way down like that. And if it does work its way down like that, then we get this, depending on if we think that's the complete flat. Maybe it's not the complete flat. Maybe this thing becomes a big correction here. You drop like this, you go back there, you come here, and then you go. That's how complex it can become. But each piece that develops tells you what the next piece will look like. So we're not magicians. I don't have a crystal ball telling me where it's going. I'm looking at the pattern that is developing, and each piece is informing me what the next piece would look like. And when I'm making a daily forecast, we're pretty much accurate because the daily pieces are already there. When we make a weekly forecast, we're like 99% accurate because the weekly pieces are already there. You can't trade the weekly and you can't trade the daily. You're trading on the hourly, maybe 15 minutes, maximum 4 hours. So the bits and pieces you're trying to catch on a daily basis might change faster. All right, so let's go. Let's see what we're going to do. I think we're going to make a consolidation here. My thought process, we're going to make a consolidation in here. Hopefully that this comes down some more here. And then maybe spend some more time here before we go. If we see that, we will buy this one and we will buy that one. Would we sell it? Maybe. Depending if I think there's a good risk to reward in the trade down. If not, we'll just let it happen down and then look for the buys. Why the buys? Because the impulse is going up. You always want to go in the direction of the bigger impulse. Now that's a learning part for you guys, so you don't freak out next time you see that one of my forecasts don't go. Like, it's not about me being right in the forecast. If I'm wrong on the forecast, I'm not in the trade. It's that simple. It's about when the forecast goes your way. And you should remember this. When the chart behaves the way you expect it to behave, you have to take advantage of that piece. That is what it's about. So you learn to take advantage of the pieces that goes the way you expect them to go. What went the way you didn't expect it to go, not your problem. Remember that. That's a motto. It's not your problem. There's a lot of things that are not going to go your way in life. It is not your problem. You deal with the things that you can deal with. Right? You're not to control everything in the world. You're to say, okay, I understand this. I'm going to work with this. I don't understand it. I'm not going to work with that. Right? You do the work you understand. Right? So it's very simple. Keep it simple, guys. Don't get worked up on these things. Let's go. I hope that helped the people who were freaking out. Let's see what happens here. We're going to expect this. Now, there might be buys and sells in this piece depending on how it behaves and what we see. Short term, very short term. We're aware that that's short term. We're aware that we broke the top, that it's a running flat. We're aware that it could first go here and then come down. We're aware of all of that. And then we're waiting to see, okay, do we have a trade in that? Is there a trade setup there? No, there is no trade setup. Is there a trade setup here? Absolutely. See? So this is what gold did. Gold came out. We knew this was going to go up. We were in this structure down, and this was making a flat there. By rule, if we get a very big consolidation here, we avoid trading it to the upside. If you're going to take it, you're only taking for a short trade to this level, which means you're looking for a 1, 2, 3, and the chances are you're going to go down. 90% of the time, when you get a big flat like that, you go down, make a new low, and then you start to go up impulsively. 1 in 10 they go. This is one of the 10 where they go. And as you see, they went and it didn't become the big impulse. It just becoming a bigger correction maybe. So the warning sign was pretty good. One guy said, oh my God, look, what he said, the goal is, I forgot what the word, like it's going to heaven, basically, the word he used, you know. I can't remember this exact word, but in his mind, this thing is going to heaven. You're so wrong. Yep. I told you it's going nowhere at this point. Well, it's still at nowhere. See? It's not that wrong. This was a warning sign that they might not be going to heaven. So don't try to join the train to heaven because you're going to get yourself in trouble. And I hope you manage to get out of the trade. If you manage to even take it, because I doubt you took the trade. Our traders, some of my traders took this small trade and they took it just so that it could come back to the top here and they will exit. They got lucky. That's part of the luck when you're on the right side. You're looking for 1, 2, 3, and you got a bigger one. Great. Take profit, jump up. We saw this piece going up. I think we were trying to trade this piece, and then we closed the trade. We pulled it because we realized it's not going to go. I think we entered somewhere here, and when it started to pull back, I told my traders, close the trade because it's not going to go. Right? We saw it's not breaking the top. It's not getting the impulse we expected to go, so you have to get out of the trade. Same thing. What it's going to do today, as you can already see from my chart, I'm expecting this to go down more. This is a very small correction. That's what you have to be aware of. This is where the knowledge comes in. I'm looking at a correction. It's too small. But if they make a small correction like that and they drop, that's good. Because if they drop, it means we're getting a very large impulse, very big impulse to the downside. And the possibility is we could come back for a very deep correction here. Now, would we look at all of this as some kind of a bigger flat here? Maybe a 1, 2, 3, something like that. Well, this is too sharp to be that too. So if it's going to be a more complex pattern, we'll come here, we'll go back up, we'll come here, and then we'll go. So either we make a more complex pattern in this range, that's one option, or the second option is we actually fall way back to the low. That is not off. We did not take off that. Maybe you might have, but we in our group did not take off that possibility of this falling back to retest the low, which means we'll be selling this with the hope that it might do this, but with the knowledge that it might just stay within a consolidation here. Right now, if you're equipped with that knowledge, you will know how to trade this and you will know how to manage it. That's the most important thing. You would know how to manage it if you see that it's okay, we're not getting the fall we expected, but it's staying in the consolidation. Let's take a small profit or let's take break even if it doesn't go. So we're looking for a sell setup here. Right now, there isn't any sell setup in it, even under 15 minutes, as you can see there, but we might get a sell setup here today if we get a flag. So if I get a 15 minutes flag here, I'll trade it first to the low. I want to see that they break the low. Why? Because we want to make sure that we're out of that consolidation. When we break through that low and go, we will decide how far it's going to go and what we're going to do with it. If we get the trade, we might not get a setup. This thing turns and go back up like that. Comes make a running flat here. Guess what? We're buying it. You see how fast that could change? From me telling you if we get a flag here to sell, for it making a flat and we are buying it. In my group, we're buying that. That might be 4 or 5 hours from now. So you see why these daily analysis we do are more important than I giving you it once a week. Because these patterns could change as you go along. You can see that buy there, that short one, we didn't take it, that was the Asian session. But now what is going to do? Is it going to make another flat for more upside within this impulse? It's possible. If they climb back to the top of the impulse, making flats like this, going back to the top there, we're going to come down here and then take off like a rocket. This would be a flat by itself. But that flat is in a bigger correction. See, it becomes complex at this point for you guys, especially if you don't know wave analysis. So we're looking right now, the most immediate trade is we're looking for a flag and a sell. We're looking for a small flag here and a sell. If that changes, we change the point because we're still in this consolidation and it could change. But for now, that's the most immediate thing we're looking for. Give us a flag, we'll sell it. Same for silver. As a matter of fact, I'm already in the sell in silver, but that's a very aggressive trade. Not something, some of my senior traders take these trades, took the sell there, because I see this and I know we're going to either do 1, 2, 3. We will either come back here for a 1, 2, 3. go back for 1 to 3, or we're going to be dropping. If we get a flag here today, we will sell. Now, this is very sharp. I'm pretty much aware that this is very sharp. That could be just one piece of a correction. So this might not drop. It might start to make a deeper pullback here, in which case I exit my trade, look for another sell. If this becomes a really big one, we'll get something here. We'll go back up there, and then we'll get a big sell. Can they climb all the way back to the top? Again, yes, they can do that. That makes life more complex for you. If this becomes a big correction here, we'll go back up there. We'll go back up there. And if we see it at the top there, we'll come down here and go up. See? So the changes of how this pattern is going to change from what I'm looking at right now within the day could happen. And all of those are possible patterns that could develop. You can't know which one of them will develop right now. But you can know what you will do if one or the other develops. So your thought process is, if this develops into flag, if you're not in the sell, I just told my traders we're in the trading room right now. If you don't get that trade, then you wait for this trade. This is the extreme. That's a very extreme level trade, which means a very risky trade. You have to have the skill level to do that. If not, you wait for this flag, and then we go for this sell. And this might not go as well. This might be a one that turned out to be a break even, and then we go back up and then we sell it again. Can we get a buy to the upside? Of course, if we get a flag like this, we'll buy it. We will understand what the pieces are doing as they're developing. See? I hope that is helping you guys, because it's not a magical thing. I said, oh, this thing should fall. Yes, I think it should fall. Honestly, I think it's going to fall. But if I tell you that and it doesn't fall, the whole YouTube, all the trolls on YouTube will go crazy, right? So what we're looking for is there is a possibility for it to fall, especially on gold. Silver, maybe not so much, but gold. If you look at the 4-hour, we do have divergence. It all depends on what happens. This is a single impulse. That is only one single impulse. That's not even enough information to make it. But if this turns out to be a flat, we're looking for more down, especially if the flat stays here. If this comes to the low, go back up, we start to get a flat in this level, we're going to go. So right now we're looking for a 15-minute trade. Then we will see what that pattern becomes. And then we're looking for the bigger trade to the downside. At least one more impulse to the downside. If it becomes a running flat and this works its way up to the top there, it will come here. One more impulse is going to happen. That's absolutely going to happen, even if it's a running flat. Then we're buying. So would we buy our way up if we see that? Absolutely. Would we sell this down if we see that? Absolutely. Would we buy back up? Sure. If this starts to fall, we're already in the trade, or we will get in the trade if we're not in as yet. Wait for the 15 minutes flag. See, that's what trading is about. So let's go. Next stage. Euro. Euro may be making a flat here, just like the dollar index. I think this piece is going to make some kind of a consolidation. We might be looking at a running flat in the future for downside. Now, this downside might just be a bigger correction, because I don't think it's total downside. We're still in this bigger correction here. And then we're in this bigger correction here. See? So there's a series of corrections we're in. We still can't prove whether we're going to come break that top. But this is telling me there's a higher probability to do that. So if we get a small one here, a running flat like that, we start to get a flag here. We get this. If we get that, we're going for the top. See this piece here? Remember that? When we got this and we go for the low. If we get that, we're going for the top. We might break out of that top. If not, we're coming back to this top, make another one like this, and then go for the top. So those are the possibilities of how this could develop. Can it actually drop like this? Sure, remember what I said, we're looking for a sell. I'm not looking at that as a possibility right now. Based on what we have, I don't think that's a possibility right now, but it can happen. And if it happens, I'll be absolutely delighted to be wrong, especially if I'm in the sell. I'd be happy to be wrong about it. If you're in the sell for a small impulse and it becomes a big impulse, you're one happy dude. You really don't care if you're wrong about it or right. You're in the right side of the trade. And that is what's most important. Pound, I insisted on pound not going down because we saw this pattern here. See this? And I was right about it because simply the pattern was forming the way I expected to form. If it didn't form the way I expected, I would be wrong about it. But I'm looking at this pattern and I said, you know what, this has to go up. I'm in that buy, but it's not going the way I want it to go. So I might take a break even out of it and then relook at it, see what it's doing. I still think it's going to go. So let's see. Maybe it looks like a small running flat forming there. And then we should go up because this pattern very likely goes out of the structure. And I think we will still go unless we're making a more complex pattern, which this comes back here, do something like this, go there, drop one more like this. For example, we get something like this here, go there, drop one more. So if I see this becoming a big correction here, Well, yes, I'll get out of the trade, like I said, for break even. We'll decide what it's doing here. We'll get an impulse up, and then we'll look at this piece and say, oh, we're just repeating that here for one more down. And then we go out of the structure. That would just be a WXYXZ pattern. That's how we would label it. WXYXZ. And then you get out of the structure. See how it can change? But I'm in the buy right now because I thought this was all the correction. And I might be wrong about that. That's not a problem. That'll just be a break-even trade for me. See? That's how patterns can change. And if that happens, the likelihood is we're going to stay in this range. We're going to do something like this, sideways. We're going to probably start doing this, and then we're going to go back to the top there. You get a 1, 2, 3, drop here, and upside. You see how much opportunities for trading we will have after that? As long as each one is giving us a setup. Aussie. Again, we're looking for the upside. And yesterday we looked at this. One of my traders said, I think we completed it. We look at it and we're in the trading room. I wasn't looking at it. He said, hey, we just broke the low in the Aussie. Did we complete the pattern? I said, yep, absolutely. And we took the trade here. In the trading room, I wouldn't show you how we take that trade. That's a whole different story. But I can tell you we took the trade in the trading room at that point. Because we saw this, and we saw this. And we're like, you know what? This thing might go. Is it going to go? I don't know. Maybe this one makes a flat here and make one new low. Maybe then it goes up. Maybe this just make a flag here and then take off. But if it does any one of those things, we will see. So the worst case in this trade, I'm not closing this trade. I'm putting it to break even. The worst case is I'll take a break even if it drops like that. We'll look for a flag. We'll decide if we're selling it. We might not sell that. We might wait for it to reverse again, take another trade to the upside, because this will eventually go up. So I'll be looking for a buy setup again if I get break even on this trade. If it stays here and it makes a flag, which is what I think is most likely going to happen, we make a flag here, then we can add to the trade I have, and some of my traders who are not in will be able to get that trade. So are we going to do this, make a flag like this and take off? Well, let's see. That is the possibility, because I think that pattern is completed as well. We have a perfect flat pattern. We were expecting it to go up. I can show you an example of that here. See, we had a flat pattern here. It took a while to go up, but it went up. You made a second flat here, and then it went up. This one will go up. It might come back here one more time or two more time or three more time, but it's going to go up. See, it's that simple. That's what wave analysis is about. It's not a magical thing. I'm telling you it's going to go up, so it has to go up right now and immediately. Otherwise, if it drops one more time, you freak out, right? Don't do that. You will not learn anything. This one, on the other hand, doesn't have to go up because we have a single wave down. So what we'll be watching this for is what it does when we broke. Yesterday, we watched it when it broke the low, and it's making a flat here. I think we were already making a flat there. So that might give us move to the upside. And if this is all the correction, we'll go up very strong. I don't think this is all the correction. I have a very strong feeling we might even make a new low here today. I don't think this is all the correction. It's pretty much strong to the downside. We're not getting any serious corrective wave in it. Can we go all the way to the low? I don't think we're trying to go down to the low. Because if we're trying to go down, you see how sharp they went? This is not going that sharp. Right? We're not going like, we're just probably going to make a flat somewhere in here, make a new high, and then come down back. Because I think we're still in this pattern. And this is not the top of the correction. That's just one first impulse in the correction. So let's wait and see what we're going to do. This today, I think we'll look for a flag. I think we'll probably get a flag here for a buy. And we'll see how that goes. CAD is an amazing one. We were tracking it for the downside yesterday, and the first one didn't go. It's not going, and then over the night they went. So if we get a flag here, we might get one more trade to the downside. But once they break this low, you'll have to be very, very careful. So if we take the trade, once they break that low, we're going to be super careful because this is what you have. I can show you. See that flag? They broke the low, they reverse. This one was more of a bigger correction. They broke the low, they reverse. This one was a flat. See that? They broke the low, they reverse. We're getting a flat similar to this one here. So once we get that trade and it breaks the low like this, we're looking for that reversal. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm telling you what I'm looking for. So we're looking for this sell. Since yesterday, we're looking. When we're trading, we're trying to get the sell from the top, trying to get it. We just couldn't get it. There wasn't a sell setup. Now we might get the sell today. We watch for this here. And I don't know, some of my traders might have got it already in the Asian session. And then we're looking for this one here. Now, is it going to do that? Who cares? I don't know. But if it does it, guess what's going to happen if that happens? I would be in the trade. What if we're in this sell and it drops to the bottom? Bingo. I'm very happy that we're wrong about it, that it's not going to stop here and go back up, because we're already in this sell. And if it drops to the bottom, good for all of us. We'll take profit somewhere here. I don't think that is going to happen because I'm looking at the chart and I'm very aware of the patterns they're making. And based on the patterns they're making, they're informing me that it's unlikely that it's going to happen. That it's very likely they're just going to drop, break the low, and I should be careful. I should move my stops because a reversal could happen. I must also look for a buy setup if it starts to reverse. That is all it is. And it doesn't have to happen at the line here. The line is irrelevant. The line is just to show me the pattern. It could happen before the line. It could happen after the line. It could happen on the line. It doesn't matter. Don't try to buy on that line. That line is irrelevant to the rest of the market. That line is informative only to me. It's telling me what pattern I'm looking at, what the chart is doing for me right now, not what the chart is doing in general, what I should do when it comes there. It could break the line and then reverse. That line is no big thing. The line is nothing. It doesn't have anything to do with anything. It's just for me visually to see it. This is the pattern, how it looks visually. That's all the purpose of the line. There's no magic to that line. There's nothing else. Oh my God, they come to the line, it's bouncing. The line is not holding the chart. They're not bouncing off the line. All of that nonsense. If you hear it anywhere, stop thinking about it and stop saying it because it's nonsense. They're not bouncing off the line. The line is not holding the charts. The line is not holding the market back. It's not like the market dropped to the line and, oh my God, there's a line there. We have to stop. They're going to stop somewhere in that area because that will probably end the pattern they have. At that point, there might be buy orders sitting somewhere. Right? Because we looked at this and we said, every time it behaves this way, this is what it does. Right? Every time we see the market in a specific pattern, this is how it behaves. Maybe because the people who are trading it, they're doing certain things that are creating this specific pattern. That's all. Whatever they're doing is creating a specific pattern. And we look at it and said, well, if we see the pattern again, are they doing the same thing they did the last time? You know how they catch bank robberies and they catch murderers and thieves? Because they have patterns to what they do. When the detectives study how they behave and what they did, they know what they can do in the future. They know how these people will behave. They have a psychological portrait of these people. They literally know what they're going to do, what they look like, what they eat, all of that stuff they study. They're studying patterns of behavior, behavioral patterns that can tell them in the future who to look for and what to expect. Because everything has patterns, including you. You create patterns. You have patterns in the way you behave. If you're a good person by nature, you will behave good. If you're a bad person by nature, you will behave bad. It's not like you're a troll today and tomorrow you're a good person. No, you remain a troll for the rest of your life. You behave that way. That's who you are. If you're a good person, it's hard for you to become a troll. A good person will never become a bad person so easy. It's hard for that to happen. That's your nature. That's how you behave. You have patterns to your behavior. And that's how you can tell whether people are good or bad. It's the same thing in the chart. There are people trading it. They have behavioral patterns. They have their plans. They know what they're going to do. And they repeat it maybe month, maybe every year, maybe every week, maybe every day they repeat that. You go to work, you repeat what you did yesterday. Right? Literally, if you're building cars, you go to work, you have one work to do every single day and you're doing the same thing. Everyone knows what you're going to do tomorrow when you go to work. That's the pattern you have. Same thing with the charts. Treat it that way. Don't treat it any other way. Watch it. Let's see if we get this trade. There's a sell setup coming. We should get this. And then we'll like this one here. And then we'll be very much aware that it could reverse. I hope it reverses because that will give us a very nice trade for the week coming, for the next couple of days. Swiss might be turning. I don't think they're turning as yet. We got two nice trades in the Swiss on the 1 hour. Yesterday we got that sell. And yesterday we took this, not yesterday we took this sell, the day before we took that sell, yesterday we took this sell. This sell looks like it's going to be a break even. I'm still in it and I'm keeping it at break even because this sharp pullback happened. This one I closed here and I'm looking at this and thinking, well, I should probably close my trade here. I should have closed it here, but I'm not in the room right now. I'm not looking at my platform right now. It's probably going to be break even for me. No big deal. I'm not worried about whether that is break even because this will be another sell to the downside. If they make a flat like that, we're going to get another sell. And hopefully that this time it breaks through the structure. Because if this becomes a big flat here, it's in this impulse, you'll probably get 1, 2, 3. And then this will probably come down. I hope that time we break the low. When we break the low, there's a chance we might go for a bigger correction. If we're starting a bigger correction right now, let's say this is already the start of some slow move up, but for a bigger correction, then this flat will probably drop to this level, come back here and start to go back up. If I see that pattern behaving like this, then we will buy here and we will try to keep that for a longer move to the upside because the next move could be big. All right? I think my thought process is that this will probably drop through the low first and then reverse because this is not very impulsive move up. They can start a move up like that, but it's very slow start. So the preferable way to get a very nice move up is let this finish what it's doing, drop here, break the low, and start to regress aggressive. If we think CAD is going to drop, there's a good chance this might drop as well. So there's a sell setup we're looking for. Right now, there's a small buy. I wouldn't buy this here. You can see that there's a flag here for the upside. I don't think we'll buy that flag because it's within this impulse, which means they're going to just do this and come back here. If they break the high again, we look for a sell setup again. Okay, this is not the upside that this one is going to take off, right? So there's a buy setup, but it's very short term. I don't think my traders should be careful. If you want to take it, you guys want to take this, you will know how to manage it. There's a flag there. I don't think that flag is going to be the one to the big move to the upside, but it could give you a trade. You could literally get a trade to like this and then come down back, right? Can they break the top? It's possible. It's possible they could get back to the top there. And then we come down back again, because I don't think that this would be the start of the impulse going up, right? This didn't look like the start of the impulse. This didn't look like start. I don't think this is going to make a very big impulse to the upside. Yen, consolidating. There's a buy setup, and yen, you might want to take the buy in the yen, because this could be a contracting flat, and this could be going up. So the buy in the yen might be a good one, because we can make an argument for a contracting flat there, or we're making a bigger correction, which means they go there, come back here, make a big flat here, go back up there, and then come here, make a bigger flat here, and then go. So those are the options. You get a trade up here. That becomes a break-even trade. It comes down back. You probably wouldn't get this sell since it drops really fast, but you could get this buy up, and you could get this sell down. And if you see that pattern, you're pretty much sure you can get that one up. See? Now, is it going to make the complex pattern, or is it just taking off because we already have a contracting flat here? Is it going to take off? Well, if you have those two options and you're looking at it and you say, well, the first option, I'm going to get break even, but the second option will be an amazing trade. Should I take the trade? Right? Is the risk worth it? One is going to be break even because they might just break like this and come back down here. But the second one would be a very good trade if they go. So if it's a contracting flat, we're going. If it's not a contracting flat, it's a break even. Take the darn trade. You take the trade and then you manage it because you're aware of what it can do. EuroCAD, one more low. I think we're going to break this low, and then the chances are you're looking for a move up because you're making it a bigger corrective structure here, right? See, we have two pieces. We have one up. We have one down. There's a good chance we come back here for a third one, and then we go down. So when you break this low, I would not be selling here, although it's a sell setup. You have to be careful because you can go back up there. And from there, we'll see what happens. Euros, we're in a big corrective structure, and it's literally, up and down in this piece. I think this piece should come back here. I'm not sure we need another one up there. It could happen, but I'm not sure that in the structure that we have, we need it. It could probably finish and come down here already. If we get this trade, we'll take it. If they decide to go back up, we'll see if we can get anything in the buy. We might not get it because it moves really fast. And then what is remaining when you get a flag, the risk to reward is not good, right? We saw the up move here and we saw the down move. Sometimes the risk to reward is not very good in it. But if we get a sell here, we'll take it. If we get a sell in this one here, to come down here, we'll take that trade because they might stop here and go back up, but they could also break out. So if they break out, we'll be doing this. See that? I think they can break out, do that, and then go back up. So it's worth it. I think the sell is a good idea if we get it. Let's go into 1 hour. So if this makes a correction here, which is what I think they could do, make a correction here, we'll go with this sell. So we get a correction. something like this, for example, a little bigger one than that. See, this one was a buy setup. We got that perfectly. I don't think we tried to get some things in here. They didn't go. Maybe break even trades. I didn't trade that piece because we were waiting for a setup. We didn't get it. And if we get this here today, this could be a sell back to this level and then one more up or break through and get this down. So the sell is a good one because the risk to the reward that could actually happen is good. And then if they come back low, we will expect them to drop maybe all the way to this level, right? After that, we'll figure out what the big pattern is. I think the bigger pattern would be this is the big correction. We go back up, we come back down, we go back up, and then go down. This might be the starting point for the current count of the B wave. Let's see if that works. Euro New Zealand. It didn't get to the top, so it proves that this is not the impulse. I didn't think that was the impulse. It gave you 1, 2, 3, but we didn't get the impulse. You're getting a sell setup here, and we should take that sell setup because we're coming down to break this low. Right, so this would be like a move down, a move up, probably come back here and then go back up. Just like the euro was, I think we will probably come back down and then go. So let's see. If we get a sell setup, we'll take it. The worst case is that it just barely come and break this low and then probably go back up. But I think we could get a bigger move down, quite a big move. If they go down, we were expecting this move. Can they go back up from here again? Go back up like this and tip the top? That would be, it's possible, but it will be a really strange move to the upside because it's an impulsive move. If you do this right within the structure, it will be an impulsive, but it's not very impulsive by nature. So I think it's more of part of a bigger correction, which is part of this correction. See that? So this should come down. We've got 1, we've got 2, we've got 3, and this should come down here. This is a 1, 2, 3. This is a 1, 2, 3, and this is a 1, 2, 3. So this will be the most corrective part. Come down here for a 1, 2, 3, go back up, and then come down back, and then go. That's the most possible pattern that could form. And then we'll see where it goes from there. If it changes, we'll see the change. Do we have a sell setup? Well, we're getting a flag here for a sell. See? You want some more consolidation here, and that would be a good flag for a sell. Let's go. I don't think I'm going to go through all of this. We'll have too many to go with, so I'm going to skip some of them because the webinar will be too long. We will do it in our trading room. For my traders, we'll do it in trading room because I don't want to spend a whole hour doing this. Let me select some of them that I think have good trades in them. This one, we're looking for a sell setup. This is consolidating here right now. So the chances are they'll make a new high here. But once they do that, we're looking for the sell. Not the buy, I'm looking for the sell here. So if this actually gives me a sell setup here, we'll take the trade. If we get a sell setup here, which means it's going to drop, we'll take the trade because we might get a running flat somewhere in the future here. And then downside. And that means we should be in the trade. They came back to the top. They don't have to break the top because we broke the low. And that means there's a good chance we might be going down already. So any sell setup here, we'll take that trade. Pound CAD, we're looking for the buy. We took the buy yesterday, took it off a break even because it didn't go. But this could be an expanding flat, or we are making a bigger correction here. So if that is an expanding flat and this is the top, we will make a new low and then go. But I don't think that is likely. I think what will happen is you'll get to take this off. What will happen is we'll make a more complex flat pattern or corrective structure at the top here. Because this is already making a flat here, we'll probably go back up, come back down, give you 1, 2, and then we might get this down again and then up. So we might just get a more corrective structure there and then upside. I think that makes for a good trade to the upside. So we can allow this to finish, look at all the pieces in it, and then we'll be looking for a buy setup. Because it's not going down. They're actually making a flag in here, which means you're gonna get a corrective structure inside of this. Right? There's a small one up, so if they drop a little, go back up there and they make a flat here, we might even get an earlier buy. But we're looking for a buy setup on this. Let's see. Swiss, Pong Yen, I don't know whether we're not looking for anything in those. Aussie CAD, I think. No, Aussie Swiss. Yeah, Aussie Swiss, you're looking for a buy setup. This is a good one. This has a buy setup here. Wait for that flag, and we're coming back to the top. And maybe we'll break out. First to the top, and then we'll see, right? Like this one. See this here? First to the top, and then we'll see if they break out of the structure. It's possible. What else? New Zealand Swiss, also buy setup. This one is a good one too. Now we're looking at this. We didn't break the low, so I think we're still making more long drawn out corrective structure. This doesn't definitely don't look like an impulse down. So this might be a 1, 2, 3, and this might eventually have been the low, and it will come back with that pattern. So this is a long drawn out flat pattern to the bottom here. Look for a buy to the upside. If you get a flag here, that'll be a buy. You're getting a flag here actually for a buy setup. You get a flag here, that'll be a buy setup. Go into 1 hour, find a flag, look for a buy setup. Right. What else? I think Cadian, it's just going up, nothing more. Just one more upside. Be careful. You're getting a flag for one more upside, and then we'll see how far that goes. Those are the ones I want to show. I'm going to skip because we're going to run out of time. Nothing is happening on this one. US oil, we make a new high, and we're making a new high. This is very important. We're coming to the top. Now, oil tend to make running flat as well. So I think now we're making a flat. 1, 2, 3. So because we are way up at the top there, this will become either a flat or a running flat. So this was a buy setup. This is a buy setup. You're getting another buy setup. But each one of these buy setups, as you come to the top, becomes with a higher risk, right? Because at any time, we can break the top, but at any time, you're going to come down back here for this one. And you're going to get a flat pattern. And then we're going to continue to go up. Because if we make a running flat or a big flat like this, we're going to continue to go up. Right? That becomes a big flat like this one. Let me show you. Put it on a daily, you'll probably see that better. See, we're making this right now. And we have 1, 2. We have 1, 2. So you need the 3, and then you're ready to go up one more. Because we're at the top there, and even if we break that up and then come, the more, if you break the top, the higher the probability you're going to go up because you're getting a running flat, right? If you don't break the top, it could, we don't know what it's going to do. I don't think it's really, I don't think we're dropping from that point. But I can, very clearly see that there's a chance that if they break the top, we come here, go back. If they don't break the top, they could go much deeper, make a bigger one, and then go. But breaking the top means the next impulse down and then upside. So as you get to the top, you have to be careful with your buys. There are buy setups where you have to be careful. I think we even have a buy setup right now today. And there's probably another buy setup forming here. See, this one was a buy. You're probably going to do this. Get another buy. You're going to do this, get another buy. But once they break that, or as they're coming closer to it, you have to be very careful because we're looking for a drop. Any sell setup you start to get would be an amazing trade. Take it. The minute we get a sell setup, we'll start to take. But the buys, you can take them, take the profit off. So if you took that, take it. If you take this, take the profit. If you get another one, you take it, take the profit off. They're getting shorter and shorter too. UK oil, same thing. Right? See, there's a buy setup there this morning. There's another buy setup here. And you can do this for a while, right? You can do this for a while until you break the top and drop the same pattern we have on this on the 4 hour, the same thing we're looking for. A flat pattern there. You had one previously here too, you see? 1, 2, 3. This one had a big flat in the middle here. We don't have a big flat in the middle there, but we have a nice consolidation going up, right? You can see that this is all the consolidation going up. Right, so this comes here. You drop one more, make a flat, upside. So today or tomorrow, you're looking for this sell, and then you're looking for the upside. Natural gas, stay away from that. Let's see. US 30 has a nice pattern. It's a big flat forming at the top there for, did we break the low already? Yeah, we came back to the low and we're going up already. So you can look for buy setups. So you had a move like this. You got 1, 2, 3. You can make 1, 2, 3. You can either go with this, then you can go with 1, 2, 3 there. If that is the case, then this one might have finished the move here. See? Contracting flat. If you get a flag here, you're going up. Now there's a chance that this here is a bigger one of this piece. I don't think so. This is a sharp one. So we're not putting these two together and this one up with this, right? If that's the case, if this 3 piece here is the equivalent of that single one, then this might come back one more down. So what do you do in that case? Well, it's simple. If you get a flag here, you buy. If they drop and make a flat, if they drop like this and make a flag here, you can sell to break the low again, but then upside. This whole thing is upside. So all buy setups is a must. I think it's over. I think we just complete the whole thing. This is it. I think this is the whole thing as a contracting flat, and we're going now. Let's see if we get a flag there we can buy. You make a low, this would be a very deep pullback if that's the case, because watch this for flags and then try to buy it to make a new high. There's a probability for them to go to make a new high, but there's a bigger pattern here forming as well. See this one? Now, I think we'll make a new high first. My thought process, and there's a reason for that. We'll probably make a new high before we come down, right? Now, if I'm wrong about that, then what you would look for here, rather than a flag for a buy, is you look for a flat. They'll come back here and do this. And if you get that instead of a buying a flag and an impulse up, you look for the sell. So the sell setup is not so fast. It will take a while to happen, but if the buy can be right now if you get a flag. So you go here, and if you get a 1 hour flag, that would be a buy setup. S&P 500, already a buy. We can look at this as a running flat. I think that's what we're thinking. If this here is a running flat, you can go with this as a running flat. And that looks like an upside already. And I think that's about it. We'll just call it off at that. Let me see some of these. Bitcoin. You're looking for more upside. You're pulling back. I think this is a pullback. You might make a bigger correction here. You might do something like this here and then go. All right, because you already have this flat in play. Already have that big running flat. So you're making a consolidation here, most likely. We'll probably see some kind of a consolidation here and then upside. Same, probably XRP. Same thing. You're pulling back for the consolidation in this and then upside. Same for this. Same for this. Right, this one is already going, so consolidation for more upside. Same for this. This one is already going too. So we will go with this piece here. We'll go with the shorter one. And that's the only option we had, with the possibility for them to come for a bigger one. Maybe when they break the top drop again, they didn't do that, so it's going to probably continue to go. And this one is already going, right? You get a consolidation, you probably go more up. That's it. So I'm going to end this webinar here. For those traders who were in this installment group, you can use yesterday webinar with the details of everything else. Nothing much change in those patterns. The ones I didn't show, there's not much change in them, right? And you will get tomorrow's full webinar again. For my group, we'll do all the rest in the trading room. I have to close now, take a break because I have some things to do. And I will be back with you guys in the trading room, right? So for the YouTube people, thank you. Trade with care. See you next week.